What's going on, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Pod Scum. This right here, as you all know, is the podcast where we dive into the deep, dark, murky waters with a plethora of legendary guests. I am, of course, your host, your bastard of ceremonies, the numero uno scumbag, Rex Ruger. That's REXXX. You might also know me as the King of Sleaze, a.k.a. the Hair Metal High Priest, and most importantly, a.k.a. Diamond David Lee Roth Jr. That's right. You are looking at the son of glam, the front man for the band. Just smoked a lot of grams. I got a million fans. I'm your ice cream man, Mr. Wop Bop Loo Bop Wop Bam Bam Shazam. Hot damn. Oh, I'm feeling good. We're all looking good. You're all looking good. I'm looking good because of this right here. As always, I'm coming to you from the Lavender Lounge of Love, and I'm joined as always by the great Keith Hernandez Puppet, bringing you the No Frills podcast. We are very limited here. Our technological prowess is limited. We don't give you frills, but we do give you thrills, rock star-sized thrills, and that's looking at this kisser, kids. Second greatest front man to ever do it in the rock and roll business. So good, I need to give myself another look before our guest gets in here. He's here now. We will get down to business here. We will chop it up with him on Pod Scum, man. Cannot wait. Very excited. We will get down to it. What's up, man?
I'm pretty good, man. How are you?
Listen, bro, right before we connected, man, Complete Control, a fucking monster of an album, man. So I got to at least fucking say hats off for that, man. Amazing.
Hey, cheers, dude.
Oh,
Thanks.
man. And I don't want to, it's very important to me when I have guests on to not fuck up your name. Mark KLOEPPEL?
Yeah, it works. It's KLOEPPEL,
Okay.
but doesn't matter.
Without divulging my own last name, I have one that's very difficult to pronounce too, man. So I get it, man. You know, some of us just have names that we're spent our whole lives getting fucking butchered.
Yeah, for sure. I'm one of them.
and so am I, man. Listen, man, fucking Misery Index. You've been with the band now how long? Early 2000s?
Yeah. I joined actually very late 2004. So technically, my first tour with them was 2005, and it was with Suffocation and Behemoth.
Yeah,
February 2005.
And all these albums down now. You know, do you still do you still love getting out there on the road and fucking touring, man? Like as you've gotten older.
We're out here now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in Graz, Austria right now. We just played a show.
Oh, nice.
We're doing a little festival run here. Friday we're doing Czech Death Fest, and then we're also doing that Rock Imperium with Deep Purple and Kiss, and
nice.
we did some other cool fest and club shows. So yeah, we got a show every day. I think tomorrow we're like 20 minutes from Arnold Schwarzenegger's childhood home, so we're gonna go do the museum shit and
there's a museum for Arnold Schwarzenegger's home?
Yeah, for his childhood home.
What's there?
I don't know. We're gonna find out. I mean, the home he grew up in. I think they have his like original weight bench.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking would be cool. His original, like, you know what I mean? Because that's what you associate him with.
yeah, some other cool stuff. Yeah, so we're gonna drop by. You know, we're all big Conan the Barbarian fans. So
who's not, right? I mean,
you know,
it's Arnold. I mean, yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, if I think of Hollywood action guys, man, he's one of those guys that just perpetually just comes to mind, I think, for everybody. You know what I mean? Like, he was that dude, you know what I mean? Like, for years.
Oh, dude, yeah. He's
Terminator.
He's like
he's an
household name, man. He's a penultimate figure. You know,
yeah.
he's the quintessential tough guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Total Recall, Predator.
I
Get
know.
out of here.
Yeah, he's got a good resume. He's got a fucking strong resume.
Governor of California.
Yeah, and governor on the resume too. I mean, fuck. And what kind of a loophole did they figure out there? Because does he have dual citizenship, or is that even legal to him to be the
I think
governor?
he has dual citizenship, and I don't think you have to be American born to be a governor.
Okay,
It's just the presidency that you have to be American born.
Yeah. Well, he's made all of his money here in the United States. The film industry has been very kind to him. I mean,
yeah, it'll be fun to go check that out, man.
So I got to ask, man, when you guys get together as a band and you guys are going to write an album, man, Misery Index, what is the creative process like for you guys? Do you guys collaborate? Does somebody bring in the lion's share of the ideas? How do you guys work that out as a band?
Man, it's there's some kind of method to the madness, but it really is like there's some kind of idea that, like, an introductory idea, if you will, that sort of spurns other ideas, and then we collaborate. So, so for one example, be like, I'll come up with like a riff. It'll kind of like inform a second riff, a complementary riff that goes with it, and those two will inform a third one. From there, you're into the bridge section, so you're kind of like trying to figure it out. That's around that time is when I try to flesh it out as much as possible and bounce it off the guys and hand it off to Adam, start to get some drum ideas going in, start to get some like, what's this making you think of? Like, what kind of song titles are you thinking? What kind of, how's it making you feel? And trying to get some of that. And then sometimes like the vocal ideas or the patterns and stuff sometimes I'll come up with vocal patterns. Sometimes the lyrics will come first, and one will inform the other, and they'll just kind of twist and turn and feed into each other as it goes along. But it's not always the riff that starts it. Sometimes it's a drum beat. Sometimes it's like a whole thing of prose that you're just reading, and you just kind of like, you rearrange it, but you kind of like start hearing a riff behind it.
Yeah.
Behind the flow of the lyrics and the beat of the prose. So it can happen a lot of different ways, but it starts with like an initial idea, and then you just kind of start hearing it, and then you pass it off to your brothers, and then they hear what they hear and give their 2 cents, and it just it gets more and more microscopic until you get to a logical conclusion.
And what do you do, like, when you get a sound? If you get a sound that you really love, like, what do you got to do now? In today's world, it's not really so much about writing shit down. Like, I've heard other people, say, like, they'll have to like hum like what they think a riff is going to be, like, into something like on a phone or a recorder or something, right?
Yeah.
Like duck into a corner into your phone and just like da, 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 like.
Yeah, that's how I
start. Do stuff like that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I got a little voice recorder on the phone. I'll be walking around. I'll record that stuff, and I'll even Adam and I will definitely like go back and forth, sending each other like mouth riffs, if you will.
Yeah, mouth.
You're on the high, you're lifting weights, you're just like driving home, like, it's got this thing in my head, and like record it, and then like immediately like, oh yeah, that's good, and we'll send it to each other, and then we'll keep a bank of this stuff. I'll even drop that into a session, and then either figure out by ear, or like I'll figure it out, outside of a session and start recording it.
So Retaliate is the only album of theirs that you weren't on, right? You've been on everything else.
That and the Overthrow and Descent EPs and the Commit Suicide split.
But all the meat and potatoes of the Misery Index discography, you've been on them though.
I joined pretty early, so I only wasn't on one full-length album. That was the first one in 2003, Retaliate on Nuclear Blast.
And do you ever sit around and think, not even as a band, but like you individually, man, like the legacy that Misery Index has carved out for themselves? Because I certainly think, and this angers me somewhat, because I've been a fan like right from the get-go, that maybe and this is probably just my own fucking neurotic thinking, man, between the two of us. But I mean, Misery Index, I feel like is not always mentioned in the pantheon of great, and I consider you guys a death metal band. I don't get into all the like little subgenres and everything, man. But I get angered sometimes, fucking thinking that I don't hear your name. I feel at least mentioned among great death metal bands, and it's a shame. I'm pissed about it.
I don't know. I think we're pretty well mentioned.
Are
You
you?
know,
I hope you are, man, because I think you guys have been doing it and doing it consistently, man, for as long as anybody, man. I feel like that's a very, a very uphill battle in a genre like that. You have to really be doing it for like love and passion. I mean,
hmm yeah. I mean, I think it's. I mean, to be honest, sometimes this stuff just takes time, and I feel like now's our time, and
yeah, yeah,
it's just
it
kind of like
is.
coming around like that. I don't know what else to say, man, because like a lot of things, like you know, are like that. Like where like retroactively, it's classic. Like this is
Yeah,
classic. There is no way this at any point in time this wasn't huge. But the reality was it's like it wasn't always the case, you know. Like Motorhead's like a classic example of that.
yeah,
You know,
yeah,
I remember like in the not too distant past where they were just kind of like playing some pretty like smaller club shows in the United
yeah,
States.
yeah.
You
It
know,
took a
now
while
it's
for them
like
to catch on. It did.
Lemmy's this martyr and archetype kind of, and and Motorhead is revered and as they should be, and but it's like sometimes during the progression of things, it's not always like that. It's not always like honored in the way it should be.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of other bands that are like that, man. you know, that's just one example. But yeah, I feel like now's our time, man. I mean, I feel like people are really starting to see the legacy now and
I
the
hope so.
importance.
I hope so, man, because it's been a swath, a path of just fucking destruction with these fucking albums, man. Every one of them just seems to get better and better and better. I mean, that's obviously kudos to you guys. Do you feel that way though, man? Like when you guys get in the studio and write songs, man, that you know what I mean? Like holy shit, each album, man, our chops, we're just getting better and better and better at this because these albums just keep. I mean, the Complete Control album is just a fucking like a menace of an album, man.
Yeah, we don't put out shit albums, you know. Like
No, no.
we make sure that they are going to last the test of time,
Yeah,
and they're definitely like they're always growers, man. Like they grow on people, and part of it's like because we don't really like abide by what's happening in the scene exactly, and like
yeah,
trends and stuff, and what we do is what we want to hear, and we also in that we like to honor the legacies um, that have come before us and what are informing that, and we like to honor the musicology and the traditions and stuff that inform what we do.
yeah,
Be it
yeah.
like thrash, death metal, punk, hardcore, whatever that is. We like to uh, if you're versed in that kind of stuff, where we're hailing from. You know
Yeah,
exactly what we're hailing from. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Um, and so yeah, we like to reference that stuff, and because of that, it might not always be like the sign of the times kind of thing, because we like to mix the present with the past,
yeah,
you know. And
yeah.
so it's a nice blend, a nice mix of things, because that's what we like, you know.
And when COVID hit and everything went to shit a couple of years back, and the plug was pulled on being able to play live gigs, and we're quarantined, and the world's severely changed for a little while. How did that affect you guys as a band? Like, did that derail a lot of plans? Did that fucking throw a wrench into a lot of shit that you guys were about to have coming up or anything like that?
I mean, not really, which is a uncommon story, but
Yeah,
we were on tour with Napalm Death and I Hate God,
yeah,
um,
yeah.
and
That's a good fucking bill,
at the
folks.
very it was like the tour was ending the very beginning of March 2020. That's when the shit started hitting the fan. We
Yeah,
were like the Moulin Rouge in Paris, and things were really tense, and that and the shit was like working its way up from Italy
yeah,
at the time. So we're out there. We got a week left on tour. We're like pretty worried. You know what I mean?
yeah. Fuck yeah.
So we're playing shows and stuff. I think the only show that got canceled was in Switzerland, and they like paid us not to go,
Yeah.
which is
Swiss must
cool.
have been scared. Are you thinking the Swiss were extra scared?
I think they were getting the brunt of it because they're further south, you know.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
um, so yeah, we went home like on March 9th or something. And then like shit really started hitting the fan. That's when the lockdown started happening. And
Yeah.
so we just kind of barely squeaked by and got that pretty big tour in right before
Yeah.
getting home and having to sit there. But our plans at that time was like always to like sit down and finish up the next album, record it, and then put it out. So maybe that would have like been accelerated a little bit, but not really. And the only like real hurdle that we had was, we had to do it all separately. There was no like going into the room with each other really.
Yeah.
Like, because usually, we at least get to rehearse some of the songs, together as a band in a room. Even if we've written them separately, we at least get to do that much and like make some changes. But this one, we didn't get that. We didn't have that luxury. Like even like the guy that was recording Adam for the drums, like wouldn't let anyone but him into the studio.
Yeah.
Like it was just, and like it was similar for all of us,
Yeah. Yeah.
So we were trying to abide by all that, I guess. But that was really the only hurdle that we had. And, maybe that is reflected a little bit on the album too. But, I think we succeeded overall.
Yeah, I work in healthcare, man. So like my day job, I work in a nursing home as a nurse, and we literally just stopped wearing fucking masks. 3 years. It was just part of the fucking uniform, man. I was starting to think we were probably never going to stop. It was crazy.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
we literally just stopped about 2 weeks ago, man, and it feels weird. It feels strange because I've had something over my face for.
Yeah, it's not good for you.
No, and I don't even know how much they really fucking helped. I mean, they're not meant to be, unless you're getting the special breathers, the N95 masks, those flimsy ones are not meant to be worn as like protection long term.
Mm-hmm.
They're not built.
Yeah, it was interesting where, you had like grocery stores and stuff. They were real vehement about it. And then like a light switch went off and they weren't.
Yeah. Well, it just ended. The pandemic, they just told us it's just poof. It's over as quick as it started. They're just telling us it's over now. Yep. Now this will just be like the flu when people get it. You know what I mean? Nobody will panic, I don't think, as much. I mean,
yeah, but I don't know. I'm not a doctor or scientist, so what do I know?
A weird time, though. A weird time in fucking history, though, for sure. I mean, fucking.
Yeah. I have no judgments. Wear your mask, don't wear your mask. I don't know.
Yeah, right. I teach his own. I mean, so do you guys sit around as a band and think with how much the music industry has changed and all the trends have changed and the listening habits have changed? Do you guys have a definitive answer on like what the proper release format is? You guys still like doing an LP as opposed to you're seeing a lot of people doing EPs, a lot of people flooding the market with singles, keep their name out there, keep themselves relevant. What do you got? What works best for you guys as a band? You like doing a fully realized album?
We'll always do a full realized album. Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
We're not going to go back from that. Definitely things are trending towards singles, but that's kind of per genre, and metal's fairly traditional, and they like the hard copy and the vinyl. And I honestly think probably like compact discs, like CDs, are going to come back in the metal scene as part of that hard copy nostalgia thing.
Yeah,
because the same thing that happened with vinyl, it's going to happen again. It's really big.
Yeah,
you have to have a record player, and like you can't. Most people don't actually play it; they just kind of collect it, and
yeah,
yeah.
And playing them in your cars, obviously, playing them in your cars is a big advantage too. I mean, you can pop CDs, into the stereo in your car. They're very convenient.
Yeah, and obviously, like that format, CD format's obviously like really good sound quality, even though they're kind of a little fragile, but I feel like that's coming back, and that's just what we're going to do,
Right. So you guys are a band with an old school mentality. I could sense that from the type of music that you make. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't expect a different answer from you guys, man. I feel like you guys are, in order to tell your story and do what you do, you know what I mean? Like you need an album's worth of material to do it. It's a voyage that you go on, I think.
I mean, the only compromise I would make is just like making more videos for the songs that are on the album. And that's kind of the same as releasing a bunch of singles.
Right.
So that's pretty much the only change I would make. And I feel like, most bands are kind of doing that. Like they're doing I don't think there's anything short of like 5 video singles on like a Metallica album or a Rammstein album or whatever. And
Yeah.
I think it's cool. It's just like another way to consume music, and there's more to look at. Fine by me, and I like music videos, and I think it's cool.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. I mean, I'm 50 years old, so I remember an era when MTV was actively playing a lot of fucking music videos. It's not the case anymore, cool. Man. But it seems like people are still making them, though. There's still, there's still a good platform and still a good marketing tool. I mean, I see a lot of them on YouTube. Bands are still very much making videos.
Yeah, it's a good way to express yourself and get the band performance to the people.
Yeah, and a good visual is always fun. I mean,
yeah. So I think we did like 4 of them for the last album. It was great.
And as far as touring, as you guys get older now, as you said, you've been doing this since early 2000s. You're almost 20 years, into this band. Does the itinerary change? Is there a comfort level where all you guys in your lives right now, the narrative changes? You might have, family, kids, a job that makes it tough to go away and tour. How do you guys work that out? Is everybody able to kind of come together and find an itinerary that's comfortable for how long you guys go out for on tour?
Yeah, I mean, everyone here is like pretty much a lifer, so it's just like, whatever opportunities come along and what we want to do to make it work and what kind of sacrifices we're willing to make. Like there's no real rule.
Yeah.
We just do what we want.
Do you like being out on the road?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we're out here. We're out here like trying to like put on the very best show that we possibly can. We try to get a little bit better each time,
Yeah. As a guitar player yourself, are there guys in the genre, or not even in the genre, just guitar players in general, that you, I don't even want to say are your influences, but just, guitar players that you just love hearing their playing? Who are some of your favorites as a fan?
I like Todd Jones a lot.
Yeah.
Nails guy.
Yep.
He wrote a bunch of stuff for that Last Terror album, and he wrote the Last Terror album, and it is, man, it's good.
Yeah.
It's a good record.
Yeah, I've had a nice little run of recent interviews here, like, with a lot of guys in the hardcore scene. Hardcore is just such a great genre. It really fucking is.
Yeah. And like kind of from that same camp, because he was in Nails doing drums, but Taylor Young, he's got like his death grind band, Dead Body, and he's in God's Hate. I don't know how many riffs he wrote for that. I don't know what exactly his roles in there, but man, that last God's Hate album is just make you beat somebody up. It's so good. And he's just so prolific, man. He's got Twitching Tongues, and I'm sure he's involved with a bunch of other stuff. He's also doing producing and doing a bunch of records. I think he did the last Suicide Silence, and he also did Year of the Knife. And talk about a talented guy, And I heard we played with Dead Body in LA, and like I wasn't really that familiar with him, so it was, I familiarized myself, before getting out there, and man, it's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are there any death metal bands out there, who you feel like are going to be on the cusp of carrying that torch? Continuing to propel death metal forward?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, fucking Frozen Soul, Fuming Mouth, Creeping Death. Those bands are new-ish. Frozen Soul, I think, is on their second album, so they rule.
What do you think of what do you think of
Bog?
Who do you think of 200 Stab Wounds?
Amazing.
Yeah.
And also similar to 200 Stab Wounds, but often overlooked, Plague Years.
Okay. Yeah.
Also super sick in terms of death metal. And but we like a lot of we like some hardcore over here. We like some power violence.
Yeah.
Sex Prisoner is number one for me.
Is there stuff that Is there stuff that you'll listen to as a fan though? That is a polar opposite of what people would think that you would listen to, based on like how they see you play up on stage. Like the softer side of your listening taste. Is there one, or is it always heavy music?
No, I like some softer stuff, like Fleet Foxes and stuff.
Yeah,
I like that stuff.
Yeah.
Bon Iver,
Don't worry,
my wife listens to a lot of like new R&B, like the new stuff. Where it's got like kind of DJ breaks and stuff in it. A lot of NPR, Tiny Desk Concert type of shit, or like similar kind of stuff. And I like that stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool what they're doing.
I'm not somebody that plays the guitar, man, but and you probably hit with this a lot, but sometimes people bring it up in the comment section though. I'm not a tech guy or like a gear guy, but how do you achieve your sound? Is there a guitar and an amp combination or something that that you embrace and use all the time?
Yeah, I like the EVH 5153.
Yeah.
Amazing amp. All around. You can do everything with it. You can crunch it out. It's got the perfect cleans. It's the perfect amp. It's so amazing. And I will use it forever.
As long as they make it, you will endorse it.
When it came out and I played it for the first time, I couldn't even believe that they finally came up with the perfect amp.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's super sick. And we have them out here on the road, and honestly, live I've got a processor it's like by Moore. It's a GE250. So I got to use that sometimes when we're doing like festivals and stuff. So because of changeover and stuff, but it pretty much just has a 5153 copy of the preamp in it. Yeah. When we're recording and we're doing live stuff, it's the amp. So.
And then what about a brand of guitar? Are you one of these guys that is loyal to a specific brand of guitar?
Yep, ESP guitars for life.
Yeah. Are ESPs really, are ESPs like just completely like made for metal, man? Because it seems like all the cream of the crop metal musicians always play ESPs, but yet I feel like they're not mentioned as much as like the brands like that, the other brands that you hear like Gibsons and Fenders and stuff like that. But then every time I remember, I used to look at metal magazines back in the day, and I'm old enough to remember metal magazines. Dudes would always be rocking ESPs. I'd always see it up there, at the end of the guitar.
Yeah, they marketed themselves in the metal pretty well, but I mean, they are like the perfect instrument for it. There's other brands out there. I mean, like Ola England's got that Solar brand, and they're pretty good. And obviously Jackson's good too. And Dean's got some stuff. BC Rich has some stuff, although their quality's kind of gone down over the years. But I think ESP is just like always really consistent.
Yeah, yeah.
Like because we fly with these things, so like I'll tune it, throw it in the case, fly across an ocean, and like pull it out, and it's within a half step of being in tune. That's pretty impressive. And then like for me, I'm an artist of theirs, and like just moving from one guitar to the other, there's a level of consistency going on there where it's always comfortable. So it's like literally, if I could see the name brand on it, I can pick it up and go play a festival with it, And
is that how you get like a lot of guitar players are identified by their tone. As soon as they start to play, you can kind of almost tell who it is. Is that an important process? Is that an important step in the process of getting a discernible tone? That you're distinguished by having to use the same guitar all the time. I mean, you in order to get what we know as the guitar tone you get with Misery Index, is it dependent on always using the same stuff? Like if someone were to take that amp and guitar away from you and switch it out with something else?
No, it's that has been a process of reduction. So anytime you approach like a album, the sounds you're going to use, you start over. You see what else is going on, what else is out there, try some things other people are doing, and and see what's working for the music. But we've done that every single time, and that damn EVH amp and those ESP guitars seem to always work themselves into the mix. So
yeah, those are what you want to come back to.
Yeah, but I'm always open to try new things, see if we can, get an edge and get a little better, something different,
Yeah.
I'm always down for that. But, you got to do what works.
And obviously, you put out this amazing album, Complete Control, in 2022. As I said, with the trends in the music industry having changed so much, how fast do you start to think about getting your name back out there again and getting out new material? Do you feel like as an artist nowadays, there's like a rush to kind of like stay relevant, don't let people forget you, or do you guys just work at the pace that's most comfortable for you? Is there a pressure in the industry today to, okay, we put out an album in 2022, but hey, we got to get something out like here soon? Or do you guys not put that pressure on yourselves?
I mean, there's definitely a pressure to do it, whether you abide by it's up to you.
Right.
I mean, I don't know how beneficial it really is, honestly, to keep some kind of like crazy pace of material flying out.
Yeah.
There's people doing all kinds of stuff. They got their Twitch channels and their music review stuff, and they're like, all kinds of things. And yeah, you can produce content endlessly and as frequently as you'd like. Does that help you?
Right.
I don't know. What do the sales numbers look like? It just seems like that people decide. You do need to stay relevant and keep your name out there, of course, in some way. You can't do nothing.
Right.
We aren't living in the past. We're living in the present. So you do have to like do stuff like you're doing.
Right.
Do podcasts and video stuff, and you have to do some of that stuff. I don't know if you got to like put out an album every year and a half. That said, we are working on that and working towards that goal. We have like some other musical stuff we'd like to explore, and probably sooner than later. Yeah.
Are you somebody who and forgive me for not knowing this, I mean, I obviously know you, through Misery Index, but do you have other projects and endeavors? I'll talk to guys on here that have their hand in like 3-4 different bands, and I always think, holy shit, I can barely do my day job in this podcast. I applaud people that can do that. But is your main focus Misery Index, or do you have other musical endeavors that you're doing?
No, Misery Index is the main focus.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do some other stuff, but yeah, Misery Index is the main for sure. I got a side band with my friends. It's like a black metal thing. It's called SCOUR.
Okay.
I don't do any really much writing for that. I just kind of like do lead guitar stuff. So
yeah,
we just recorded a whole album in February. We're having a mix now. I had a little bit to do with the songwriting, but it was mainly like, a few leads on the album and some like producing stuff and like some just overlay type things and stuff like that. But, I'm also there to like perform with the band too. So,
right.
Yeah.
Are you excited about at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Museum tomorrow there being any type of souvenirs, and will you come away with a souvenir tomorrow?
I don't know what's there. I hope so.
What kind of a souvenir would be awesome to find there, man? Like maybe like a I don't even know what would be cool. I mean, you can always go to those kind of things and grab a t-shirt, but who needs another fucking t-shirt? It'd be cool if there was something that was really like iconic that you could get there.
Showing his baby teeth in a bag.
Yeah, a necklace made out of his baby teeth. Yeah, that would be pretty fucking cool, man. But I mean, Jesus, man, you're going to the birthplace, the childhood home of Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah,
as we know him.
Cool.
Yeah, that is fucking cool. Do you like being in like the? Are you? Did you notice the differences? Obviously, metal is so welcomed and so beloved over in Europe. Do you notice a big difference between the U.S. audiences and the European audiences and how they react to you guys, or what differences do you see?
Nope. I don't see any differences.
No,
they all do the same stuff.
Yeah,
they all had bang and circle pit. They sound a little different.
Yeah, that's universal then, right? Like the States.
Yeah, I would say it's about the same.
Yeah. Is there crazy stuff that you see from your perch up there on the stage? Like, what was the last like really disturbing thing you remember looking out into the crowd and seeing? And these kids nowadays, man, like they do it pretty brutal. I remember moshing as a younger man, but I mean, these kids out there nowadays are really letting it fly.
I don't know. We don't attract much of the spin kick hardcore dancers at our show. It's pretty much traditional moshing that we attract.
Yeah,
that's a different scene.
Yeah, that's a safer moshing right there. A safer moshing at
Yeah.
your shoes.
I respect the danger, though. I
Yeah,
respect what you're trying to do. It kind of sucks when people get really hurt over it, but kind of part of the deal.
yeah. And after Austria, where are you off to next? What's the next big destination that you're looking forward to seeing?
Well, I guess we're doing Czech Death Fest on Friday, and then we're playing some club shows in between. But yeah, I mean, I'm not super excited about any like particular destination. We've been over here a bunch. We are playing Rock Imperium Fest in southern Spain with Deep Purple and Kiss, so that'd be kind of fun.
So,
fun to see.
Is that show part a part or a stop along the Kiss this now legendary Kiss farewell tour? Are you part of the? So essentially, you are appearing on Kiss's final farewell tour.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's a nice accolade. Yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. I mean, shit. I'd stick it on the old resume. Why not?
Maybe we'll get to high five Gene Simmons. You know what I mean?
You might get. You'll probably have to pay for that privilege, though. I would imagine that there would have to be a monetary exchange. You don't just get to go
paying any money.
I mean, Gene is going to find some way to turn that into a profit. I mean,
nope. I'll be getting the hell out of there.
It's so funny the stuff that they've marketed, man. But I always get a kick out of the Kiss coffin. Could you ever see yourself Kiss coffin, or could you? Maybe you could. No.
I'm not a big Kiss fan.
No, you're not. No,
not a huge. Nope. I mean, they're relevant. They got some cool songs. They're obviously like part of music history.
Yeah,
I like that part. I'm not this tremendous. Like they don't do a whole lot for me.
Is there a band out there that could market a casket that you'd be honored to be fucking placed into?
No.
No?
No.
You don't feel like you want to be in a walking advertisement for a band and buried in that?
Maybe Sabbath,
Okay. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, a Sabbath casket would be cool. Yeah, like that seems apropos.
I mean, it's Black Sabbath.
Yeah. I mean, fucking. I don't know. You can always argue what came first, the chicken or the egg, man. But Black Sabbath really probably have to get the honor of inventing heavy metal as we know it.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I can't think of anybody else. Has there been anybody else out there who's made the claim, or does everybody kind of divert to Black Sabbath?
I'm sure there is. I mean, our guitar player Darren's got one. What is that one? I can't remember what it's called.
Last night I had Robert Cardenas on, and he's
like some Satan worshiping, like psychedelic rock music.
Yeah,
in the 60s, and I cannot remember what it's called.
Oh, so you're saying that they might be somebody who could throw their hat into the ring as the innovators of heavy metal?
Well, and I apologize not for being able to remember exactly what I'm talking about here, but
Pentagram.
It's got a lot of the stuff that was used later, like a lot of the leather and the
elements,
the leather stuff, and like the like Satan references and the dark type of shit, and a lot of it was borrowed, and the riff is kind of heavy too.
Yeah.
For that time. And it predates Black Sabbath. So yeah. And then some people argue Led Zeppelin. No.
Yeah.
Some people argue Queen is heavy metal. I don't know.
I could never listen. But let us also not forget though that and I'm probably showing my age here a little bit, man, but I remember being eagerly in front of the TV to finally see a heavy metal get its due, its just due at the Grammy Awards when Metallica finally caved in and made a video for One, and they didn't win the heavy metal fucking Grammy that year because it was given to Jethro Tull. I mean, that's not very metal.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, Metallica is losing the heavy metal category, and this is not to impugn Jethro Tull by any means or Jethro Tull fans, but I mean, you can't beat Metallica in a heavy metal category when there is a flute in your band. Impossible.
No, that's not how that works.
It's farcical. That's just absolutely insane to even think that even happened. And, that was a big deal, man, for Metallica to make a video back then, man, because up to that point they had not, and they had stuck to that.
Yeah. Yeah, they got robbed.
They did. They got robbed. That's the only way you can put it. They got robbed, man. You like making videos? I think we might have touched on that a little bit more. And how much input do you guys have as a band into what the finished product is? Or do you put that in someone else's hands?
No, we make it all ourselves. I mean, we have all the control.
And who's usually got the vision? Who's usually got the vision for the visual stuff? Is there somebody in the band, who kind of takes the lead in that?
No, we do. We kind of come up with what we want to do together, and then we, we have some videographers that we really like, and then we communicate to them what we want to do, and then they figure out. They tell us like what can be done and what can't be done, and then we like work it out. Especially based on budget too. We don't have $1 million just to throw at it, so we're not doing like some advanced sci-fi claymation. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that used to be pretty prevalent back in the heyday of MTV, man. Like people used to drop some serious coin on videos back then. I mean,
yeah. I mean, we'll do. We'll drop some money on it, and we basically just like performance videos with cool stuff going on.
Yeah. And I do feel like that's the trend that I see the most out there, because I do think it's important. Like, while you can add certainly entertaining elements to a video, it is nice to see the band, showcased in it as well, though. I mean, it is nice to see you guys playing your instruments and making sure that you're part of it now, because it really seems pivotal nowadays. And you mentioned it earlier, doing podcasts and stuff like that. It really does seem like a lot of bands get more popular now. And I was just talking about this with another guest, that nowadays, the industry kind of gravitates to people more based on like their social media profile or how many people are following them or how hot they are at the moment, which is sad, what I mean? Because there's a lot of probably talentless people out there who are followed, just because of a popularity contest, Yeah.
I don't know how to comment on any of that.
I mean, it just seems weird sometimes, man. The people that are considered like or could be perceived as hot in music, especially, are just people that a lot of eyes are on. Not necessarily like the best at their craft, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's always been the case, though.
Yeah,
I mean,
it has. Yeah, talent has gotten overlooked a lot in the music industry. I mean, the whole '80s really seemed like it was really style over substance. There were some great bands in there, man, but it was a lot of hairspray and trying to look like a chick, from what I remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, listen, man, I know you're overseas. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this,
yeah,
man.
I got some band members trying to go to sleep right now.
Yeah,
so.
That's fine. Yeah, I appreciate the time that you did give me, man. It's been really fun chopping it up with you, man. Safe travels out there, man, and keep in touch. Hopefully we can do it again when you guys got a new album or something cooking. We'll get on here and chop it up again.
Sounds good, dude.
Yeah. Thanks so much, brother. Be safe out there. All
Cheers,
right.
man.
Later, man. Cheers.
Later on.
Later. There he goes, Farks. Farks. Did I just call you people out there Farks? There he is, folks. Take two. There he is, folks. Mark KLOEPPEL, guitar player for legendary death metal band Misery Index. Guys have been throwing down for 20 plus fucking years in a genre that ain't easy to throw down for that many years. And they've been throwing down consistently fucking awesome shit. 2022's last offering, Complete Control, is a fucking boom! A punch in the fucking face. A steamroller of a fucking album. The Eaters and the Eaten. Rites of Cruelty. I got a couple tracks on there that I really love, man. Administer the Dagger. They start the album with that one. Holy shit, man. A juggernaut of a death metal band. If you don't know, you should fucking know. Go check out Misery Index. And they have quite the back catalog. So you will, if you're doing your homework, you will be going down the Misery Index rabbit hole and discovering, if you don't already know, holy shit. There'll be a lot of holy shit moments as you discover this music if you don't know, because they are that band. Put some respect on them boys' names. They've been doing it a long time. OGs in the death metal world. I hope you guys enjoyed that episode. I thank him so much joining us all the way from Austria. And as he said, tomorrow he will visit the childhood home of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hope he has a good time there when he does see this episode, man. I wish him a lot of fun out there. See if he can really get come across one of Arnold Schwarzenegger's baby teeth. That would be fucking pretty cool. Come away with something from the childhood home of Arnold. You must. But anyway, I enjoyed that, man. Thanks so much for Mark KLOEPPEL from Misery Index, man. And until we get together and do this thing again, remember to take it easy and keep it sleazy.